The Ultimate Pickleball League, the UPL. This is the Ultimate Pickleball League podcast, a gateway to this incredible league, hosted by Mickle Moore. Discover the stories, travel inside with the amazing people that make it all work. Sit back, grab some popcorn. Welcome to the Ultimate Pickleball League. These are exciting times in pickleball. I am Mickle Moore, intrepid host of the Ultimate Pickle Pod, the podcast of the Ultimate Pickleball League. Today, joined by Ken Sanders, who is COO of the league. Ken, how you doing today? And I think it's great. Ken's got a little help today. I think that's a grandson.
Yeah, they came into town, so it's like, hey, he's here with me. Love family, and that's why the UPL is such a big deal to me, because it's family that what we're trying to put together.
Hey, that's a great way just to start us off. Let's talk a little more about that vision in a moment, because the league is humming. We're getting set to debut another exhibition in just a few weeks. League play next year. I want to get to all things ultimate for sure. Before we do, though, Ken, walk through the kitchen with me all the way back to the baseline to when you first picked up a paddle and found some joy and love for this game of pickleball.
So Charles didn't tell you the story, right? So what happened, my first experience with pickleball was in 2018. And a guy from my church was about 76 years old. And he said, hey, you want to go play pickleball? There he is. He said, hey, you want to go play pickleball? I said, what is that? He said, come out, let me show you. He says, kind of like tennis. And I said, okay, hey, being a former athlete, I said, shouldn't be that tough. Well, yeah, the court is shorter than the tennis court. And, you're an athlete, you should be fine at it. Well, needless to say, he set me up for the okie doke. So I picked him up. We went to the courts there in Surprise, Arizona. And, the guy was dressed in jeans and a flannel shirt, and he had his paddles. Here I am, all dressed up, just like I am right now. But anyway, he said, come on. So I'm out there, stretching. I'm ready. I got this, old guy. Needless to say, he had me going east, west, north, south, the whole bit. And I think he went 2 steps right, 2 steps left, 2 steps front, 2 steps back. And he had me running like you wouldn't believe. To the point where
I can believe.
To the point where I tried to get a shot. He dinked it over to the left. I went, and next thing I know, I was into the fence. And I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm not going to do this. This is ridiculous. I'm a former athlete. I should be able to play this game with no problem. And that's not the case. And so that was my first experience with pickleball. And then, I started playing it, and I just play it for fun, just to stay in shape. I'm 63 years old, so I got to keep these old bones running and so forth. And, that was my introduction to pickleball.
Good to keep the blood pumping, right? And that's the pickle doke, as we call it. And it's not uncommon because it's happened to me plenty times.
Yeah. But the thing about it, it's a fascinating game. It's a very, for me, when I looked how old the guy was that I was playing against. And then when we went to Omaha for the exhibition there, where the Phoenix Aces went into Omaha and played, I stepped back because I'm not like, all the players that were on the team. I mean, they've been playing it for so long. So I took an outside approach in watching the game. And what I found out is pickleball is very, very inclusive of any sport that you could possibly play. Pickleball is the most inclusive sport that's probably played around the world. And what do I mean by that? I mean, you don't have to be the best athlete. You can play it while you're 80. You can be overweight. You can be underweight. You can be, black. You can be white. You can be Latino. It doesn't matter. And then the other thing I saw that was, warming to the heart is to see someone playing who has a disability.
Yes.
And so I was like, man, this is one of the most inclusive games or, things that you can do as an athlete that no other sport you can do it.
And not
that
only
was fascinating.
Well, I love the way you put that, Ken, is inclusive, and I've always said truly generational and also the great connector because you
Yes,
can get the folks out there who can all play even together. Somebody that might have a disability, somebody who's a little
yes,
older, somebody who's a little younger, somebody who you might not think is, let's just say, in the best athletic of shape. But trust me, folks, they're in plenty pickle shape because they won't move but 2 feet, like Ken was saying. And the next thing you know, you're laying in the fence. And
yes,
it
yes,
truly
yes,
is. And even, young folks like your grandson there, they're going to come up pretty soon and be playing pickleball because
yes,
it's truly coming down to, the youth level. And you mentioned how the UPL is family, and I think that's what's great about this league as it begins and starts to go across the regions as it's going to be in this country is it involves community, right? And so I
yes.
appreciate a little color on your pickle background now. And with, your love of the game, you do like to play to stay in a little shape. How do we use that personal connection now with the game itself and your role more with your business hat as CEO, COO, I should say, of the Ultimate Pickleball League, which has got to be exciting. And congratulations, and glad we're going to be working together.
Well, hey, thanks. Charles and I, we several years ago, we were working on a project together. That's how he and I came to know each other. I'm from the basketball world, kind of like your last guest who was on, and I've been involved with basketball for 42 years. And so it was in 2018, at the same time I was telling you about the when I started playing. Charles came and he said, "Hey, listen, do you want a gym?" And I said, what are you talking about? I thought he was pulling my leg and stuff like that. We started working together on a project. Didn't complete the project. It was what it was. And I told Charles one day because my church, they had a pickleball court inside the basketball courts. Because what they did is they used the flooring that they used for the FIBA volleyball over in
Lined it.
Europe and lined it with 3 courts. So, I told Charles, I said, hey, pickleball, man, this is going to be it. And he looked at me, yeah, okay, pickleball. And look where we're at. With the pickleball. It's for me, it is, and it's always been about community. The one thing that I want to trademark is from the womb to the tomb. This little guy to someone who's 80 plus years old. That this sport is revolutionary, and it's one that the best term that you could say is generational. Because I happened to stop in a club yesterday and was talking to someone, and they had this little group called the Picklers. They call them the Dills, and they're kids 4 years old and older.
Those are the
And so
Gherkins.
my granddaughter's 4, and it was in that conversation, just like you said, that it's generational. So I'll be able to play this game with my granddaughter. I don't have to be in the best of shape, but I can say, hey, let's go and play, and it's something that we can do together as a family. I mean, the whole entire family can do it.
Absolutely.
My son-in-law and daughter, they went and played it probably 2 months ago, and they said, Dad, that's the most exhilarating and fun sport there is. So when I thought about it, I said, this is a family. When you talk about it, this is a family sport that you all can play. Just think about it. Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Hey,
I,
after you
I
eat
was
all
about
that
to say,
turkey.
think of these holidays coming up. Think of
Yeah, yeah,
family reunions,
absolutely.
the neighborhood Olympic type of things that probably when you were growing up and when I growing up, we used to have a lot, right? And it used to
Yes.
be maybe three-legged races and all the traditional sort of things. Now we could have a little pickle tournament and who's the best family in the neighborhood or who's got the
Well,
neighborhood bragging rights. That's, I believe, what makes this game so incredible. And then also that it can involve the community and a league
yes,
that starts that as part of its foundation, I believe, is going to have sustainability. And I know I can hear and it's part of your vision. I know that's part of Charles' vision. Tyler was on a week ago, Adam before that. Everybody shares that. And that's what I believe is going to make this thing pretty special.
well, Mick, I heard Charles has stated that when he had spoken to you and you guys had a conversation, the statement that you made to him was, you know what, you're doing it the right way, right? What is the right way? So for me, the right way is you're putting your passion that you have ahead of any profits, ahead of anything that possibly can detour you from that family type situation and building a community based, and Charles has never been about, profits and things like that. He just wanted to build it the right way to make sure that people are enjoying themselves before he gets paid or before anybody in the office gets paid. The one thing he wants to make sure is it's done right, it's top notch, and he's got the right people
Yeah.
around, and everybody has their lane or whatever the case may be, and he doesn't micromanage. Hey, let's go do this. And I honestly believe when he called me and said, hey, da 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 da, I said, let's
Yeah,
go. I didn't
let's
ask
go and do
about
it.
what I was going to get paid. I didn't ask about anything because I know building things from the ground up, because a partner and I, we grew a basketball league in the East Valley. We were doing everything the first 2 years. And
Yeah.
that's what I just feel that, possibly what we're going to be doing here is doing a lot of the carrying and the heavy, lifting until everybody's, seeing what's happening.
Exactly right. We have to build this thing brick by brick. And Ken Sanders joining me here today on the Ultimate Pickle Pod, as I like to call it. That's still kind of in beta, although I really like it. And, some of your background pre-pickleball is certainly building systems that can scale, that do scale. And, how do you apply some of those processes to a sports league? Now, your background is in sports, you've done it before. We talk about pickleball being a little different. Can some of those same philosophies and principles apply to pickleball?
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you talk about, the business side, um, you got to make sure that you have things in place you've got the people, the personnel, creating the league schedule, the sponsors, all of that. It's no different. Only thing that's different is the ball is a little bit smaller and you're
Got
slapping it
holes in
around
it.
with the paddle. Yeah, it's got holes in it and you hear it go whoosh, and you could get hit in the head with it and all of that. But at the end of the day, the principles are the same. It's a business. You want to make sure everybody's having a good time, that the product that you're providing is top notch, and that we're doing what we need to do.
Absolutely. With that being said, too, in the league, we've already got commitments from teams and cities all across the country. We're forming these regions, which is going to be great. What, though, might represent any operational challenges as we continue to expand? And how can we really be proactive? That's where the experience comes in. And where I mentioned brick by brick, mortar, brick by brick, to stay ahead of maybe potential hiccups.
Yeah, when you talk about one of the things you have to be concerned about is the location of the teams and how you put them together in pods so that they play within a pod, and then you have cross pod competition, but you don't want you want to keep the cost down. Kind of like the
Right.
NFL, they have the divisional stuff, and so those teams, rivalry there, and then
You
you
can't have
cross, you,
Seattle trying to go
yeah,
play over
in
over
New
in
York.
South Carolina
Yeah, you can't.
unless it's the championship.
Yes, exactly. So the big thing, the obstacle right now is making sure that we have enough teams in each one of the regions or pods we want to call them, and then they can play each other and at least twice, and then those that are close we cross division that within that pod. So we're still working through those things as we're adding teams. We had to look at what number of teams do we need to have and all of that, and we're still Mick, we're still working through that right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's great to see the commitments we're getting from cities. In talking with Charles, I know there's some more that are coming in, which really leads me to, part of this league and growing a league. And it's important when we have to think about partnerships with the venues across the country, how we do regionalize these divisions, logistics, teams getting to the events. Are there any sorts of things that we want to keep in uniform that are non-negotiable, kind of a big word, but let's say that hey, if we're coming here, we need this for our league and for our players so that it's a consistent success community to community.
Well, and that's one of the things. I was in Connecticut and actually visiting some potential teams for the league itself. They all have the very question you ask: how's it going to work? If we're only paying this amount of money and we got to put together a team, and again, you just have to, with the passion, explain to them that we're out here, we're going to have enough teams in this, in your pod to do what needs to be done in order for you to have a successful team. And then we're going to come and help you as much as we can with regards to events, putting on events, how to set up your youth, development program. And
Yes.
that's one way to develop, you develop the youth to come through. They've got something to look forward to. There's, semi-pro, and, you get that energy going that way in the community. Mick, I think it's just a matter of time before they all
Yeah.
say, hey, I'm all in.
Right. You just have to have that passion, the energy as you described. And I think the more people that folks who might be a little interested talk to some people that are starting to be involved, they understand what you just said. We're building
Yeah.
this thing and it's going to be something special. And in your city or another city, we're also building this and making it available for youth to come in and start playing pickleball and grow with their own game and then have an opportunity to play at a pretty high level. This is semi-pro pickleball. It's pretty good. And I was talking with somebody, Ken, the other day too. They're like, well, what do you mean by that? And I said, well, of course there are pro leagues, let's just say, but there are a
Right.
lot of people that are really good at pickleball who want that team environment, want to represent a city, wear that on their league, and play in a league where they can then throughout the year go play for something. And you start to build that in the community as well. And there's a lot of people in these communities already that play against each other that are going to build these teams. And I think it's going to be really neat.
Well, that's the neat thing about it. So you might have several clubs, and you might have, two club owners that's saying, "Hey, let's merge. Let's put a team together in this UPL." The other thing that's nice about it, Mick, is we'll also have a junior circuit as well. The thing that I like about what we're trying to do is in the MPL and those types, it's kind of like the tennis circuit. It's all about individual against individual and making money. And then, there's only like 64 spots in major pickleball.
Right.
And what we're trying to do is create an avenue for those who really want to be a part of that MPL. And if that's what you want to do, this is the, starting grounds to get that, because now,
Yeah.
because we become a reputable league, now the MPL might look and say, okay, who's the next up and coming? And guess what? They don't have to go and look.
Right.
They don't, and the other piece to this is we don't want people to have to pay $1 gazillion to go and play to get a medal or to get a ranking. Okay.
Correct.
What we want is we want Dallas versus, Phoenix, or we want, El Paso versus Las Cruces. And, hey, last night we had a great pickleball game, and it was 5-2. And, next week, these teams are going to be playing. We want teams. It's kind of like I always tell everybody, the NBA today don't like. You know why? Because they're selling individuals. The NBA in the 80s, they
Sold the
sold
team.
what? Team. They
Bad
sold
Boys in
teams.
Detroit,
Yes,
Showtime
yeah.
Lakers.
The
It was
Lakers.
it
Yeah.
was teams. It was
Beantown,
the
Boston.
Celtics.
Okay.
That's right. That's what we
Yep.
bought into, and then you had the
That's it.
individuals in those
Yeah.
teams, and it doesn't mean individuals
Absolutely.
can't stand out for crying. Magic Johnson, right? He stood out a little bit,
Yes.
but was part of that
Yes.
team, right?
Yeah.
And so,
Yes, and I think Mick, as we look at sports as a whole right now with the NIL and all of that,
yeah,
what is it coming down to? It's the individual. It's the individual. That's what people are paying for.
yep,
And it's like, man, that gets old after a while. But what if we had 10 individuals on a team? They each play a part in that team's success.
right.
I'll
No,
do
and
that all
that's
day.
and that's what
I'll
this
follow
is,
that all day.
and I love it. And I talked to Charles about, we're going to build this into the premier, semi-pro league in the country for pickleball. And just like you said, you might have aspirations of maybe trying to get out there to an NPL, a PPA, an APP, maybe MLP, whatever those become down the road.
Right.
Hey, great. But you're going to have a nice platform here, highly competitive, well run, a lot of fun too, because it's built through community for competitive. And I think that's what makes it fun too.
Well, hey, I think those two C's are very, very important. Competitive, community, and the other thing is culture. The three
Absolutely.
C's. Okay?
Absolutely.
Those are the three C's, and I think those three C's are very important for any organization to be successful. Doesn't matter if it's in the sports, in the sporting world, or in the business world. Culture is very important.
Yep.
Community is very important. You know, you have to have those, and if you don't, you're missing a part of that. And you got a car going down the road like this, and
That's
I
right.
think
You know,
we're trying to make sure all four tires are aired up, the correct proper PSIs,
that's right.
and get down the road and making a stop in somebody's town and showing how committed we are to a community.
Absolutely. Really appreciate the time with Pete Sanders here on the Ultimate Pickle Pod. What's our little guy's name?
Little guy, my little guy, his name is Fritz.
All right, Fritz.
Hi, Fritz. Can you say hi?
It would have been great if he had a pickleball paddle in his hand and a future UPLer right there.
There you
And
go. There
you know,
you
that's the
go.
other thing that we you talk about in involvement with community, building something where you can start to develop as a younger person into a, a very good player. You know, out here, the high school initiative that's going on, and that's another thing just about pickleball that I really like and what the UPL is doing. Let's talk
Mhm.
about the fact that here's a big one. You know, pickleball we know is only going to continue to grow and explode in popularity. How do we stay ahead of that? We just talked about it, that growth curve, protecting the quality of competition and the experience for an athlete. And I believe it's because we're building the culture of the league and the team where we just talked about individuals can shine on a team. And I think it's
Yes,
great.
yes, they can. And you know, Mick, I think the system that we're going to use, we're not going to use Duper, we're going to use Ver,
Yes.
which is a little bit different than what they're using. And I think it's a great system from what I'm hearing and reading. That these guys are committed to making sure that everyone is rated. You're going to be rated to be a part of the league. I think that's important, and it doesn't become political. Everything is analytical,
And
right?
it's a level, again, foundationally a level field for everyone in the league. Everyone carries the same rating, everyone with the same system, and the VAR system is great. I think it's a little ahead of its own curve, and it's going to be
Yes.
phenomenal for the league. We can talk about some of the sponsors now. Sporfy with the streaming, it's going to be phenomenal. I'm wearing a nice Leo Raver shirt. I hope I said that right. And then we got King's Sports ads. These things are great.
Yeah, well, hey, don't whatever you do, make sure I don't know if you can edit it out, but put me in one of those polos because mine
Can't
got
do it.
lost in.
We're gonna we're gonna blame it on the airlines. All right,
Hey,
we're just
that was all my stuff was in the suitcase that Charles gave me. But
it's all right. Hey,
again,
are you gonna
building.
be able to? Are you making it out here for the exhibition, or not gonna have
Yes,
time?
yes,
Okay,
I'll be there. Hey, if I'm not, Charles will send the marshals after me. But
send me.
but I'm excited about that event that's coming up. Like I said, we're doing it the right way. Like
Yeah,
you just gave every sponsor a shout out that you have on. And there's some big news. I don't know if Charles shared it with you. I'm not going to share it with you. I think, you can call him and say, hey, what's the big news? But
you can take me
we had
offline.
some great, we had some great news, a potential sponsor, and putting things together. So, Mick, things are moving in the right way. And as I told Charles, I said my biggest concern is making sure that the infrastructure is right to accept it.
Yep.
Like you may build a bridge, and if you don't cure the cement right and have the things to hold the traffic, and you've got a gazillion cars coming across and it falls through, that means the infrastructure wasn't prepared for the growth. And I want to make sure, that's something that we always talk about. We want to make sure the infrastructure is solid where anyone that comes in, they're moving without hiccups. Or if there are hiccups, we can get right in front of that and fix it right away.
Absolutely. And, bringing in folks like yourself and with that experience who share the vision with Charles and the folks I talk to involved with the league share the common vision. And like you mentioned earlier, we're toting the lunch pails. We're going to spread the mortar, put the bricks down to do this the right way. Because as we look way ahead and we can look way down the pickle road, this league will be worldwide and it's going to
Yes.
be exciting. That I can say
Yes.
on full authority, and it's going to be very exciting.
Listen, every day I get some news. Yesterday, Charles called me. He said, sit down. I said, I'm walking to the car. He goes, sit down. I said, okay. Like I'm thinking, what? We're not doing this? And he just
Do
blew
we
my
pull the
mind.
plug? Are we
Yeah.
done?
Are we not doing this? What's going on? Why do I have to sit down? And he gave me some news yesterday. I was like, man, see, we're doing it the right way. We just have to keep plugging along. Everybody, like he always says, everyone knows their lane and just drive their car as slow or as fast as they want. He likes them moving fast. But at the end of the day, the right people are at the table, like yourself and Robert, and so he's brought the right people. He's building the right team, and so therefore the UPL can't be nothing but successful.
Yeah, exciting times ahead, exciting times right now. And right now, I'm joined here with Ken Sanders, COO, Ultimate Pickleball League, here on the Ultimate Pickleball Podcast. I am Mickle Moore. Ken, I really appreciate your time. Anything else, last thing you might want to plug out there at all before I let you go? Again, really appreciate the time. Looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks, folks. December 6th and 7th. Arizona Athletic Grounds right here in Picklezona, Ultimate Pickleball League exhibition. Visit our website, ultimatepickleballleague.com for more info, and we're spreading it through the socials. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be ultimate. Ken, I really appreciate the time. Thanks again.
One other thing I want to talk about is this event that's coming up.
Yes.
Basically, everyone knows it's going to be at the Arizona Athletic Grounds. And, we were talking, how can we make an impact in the community? We're going to have it as a toy drive. Either pay $9, I think they're talking about, or a toy. Hey, I'd rather everybody bring a toy.
Yeah.
Keep your money in your pocket, bring a toy, and we're going to look and see if we can donate those to the Phoenix Children's Hospital. And again, that's just one of those things that we want to just give back to the community.
And this is what we've been talking about, right? And we might have a fourth C on there now is charity. And it's just a little way to give back, and you can come and see incredible pickleball action all day for just one toy. And this is gonna be a nice toy drive to give back to the kids at this time of year who don't get much, don't have a lot, and you can just bring a toy. And if you can't bring a toy, hey, $9 isn't a lot. Again, we're trying to do things the right way, keep some costs down for you to come see some great pickleball. But one toy, you could bring a toy.
One toy, yeah. And then, make sure we label it boy or girl, if they want to wrap it, and age group. But, if they want to wrap it, we will have people wrap them as well. So, Mick, I'm excited, man. I
am super excited. This is going to be great. I can't wait for just a few weeks for the exhibition. Can't wait for league play to start in April. And it's exciting times, ultimate times, as I like to say. Ken, thanks again so much for joining me, and Fritz.
You bet. Fritz, can you say bye-bye? say thank you, Mr. Mick. Say thank you, Mr. Mick.
I'll take it. That's a walk-off. Ken, thanks again so much. Appreciate the time. I'll see you in a few weeks.
And thank you for being a part of the organization.
You know it. It's my pleasure to be here. This has been another ultimate episode of the Ultimate Pickleball League podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Mickle Moore. Follow all things Ultimate on our website, ultimatepickleballleague.com, on YouTube at the Ultimate Pickleball League Podcast. Stay safe out there. Stay hydrated. Be ultimate.